What up, and welcome to A2thaShow. It is me, A2thaMo. Every week I look at the little goddamn banner, let's read it. The gosh darn banner, and it says A2thaShow with A2thaMo, and I'm like, do I need to really put the with A2thaMo? I probably shouldn't, but anyway, y'all, around the podcast, let me know, should that be there or not? Also, I have master plans if I could make this banner animated and it do shit. And that might be something to happen someday, but right now we're just keeping it simple. I mean, don't want to put too much time into it. We want to keep it fun, keep it enjoyable around here. I got the dog on the camera back there. Shout out Nymeria, being the unrecognized co-host a lot of times. She also might just dart out the room anytime. Because I like when my solo episodes, it's basically my old, my old podcast, but it's basically this. It's all the same podcast, same feed. But a lot of times back in the day, I just, let's just go through all the phone notes. And those have become maybe not my favorite episodes, but people have been like, they'll hit me up and be like, hey, you were in the fucking zone on that one. So who knows? I was really a big fan of a couple episodes ago, I was talking about Democrats and Republicans and how they pass us back and forth to fuck us in different positions. And I really felt like a little Tim Dillon there, maybe he's really rubbing off on me. And also, I got to say my look today on the podcast for any listeners. I look crazy, but it's also because I don't know how much longer I'm going to have this hair. And so we got to use it here. I pushed up all of the neck hair. I don't know which angle. So that all the hair that was normally on my neck is up in the hat at the moment, covering my balding head. And then it is pushed out this hair. And then I'm like, well, that's a cool look. Since I'm re-wearing a shirt, I hate re-wearing shirts, but I mean, eventually I got to re-wear shirts. I can't keep buying new clothes for this fucking thing. And so I was like, well, we could do cool hair, possibly. And yeah, I don't know when I'm getting a haircut. I think about it almost every day. And then the days that I'm like, you know what? I conditioned my hair this morning. Today would be a great day to get a haircut. I get filled with anxiety. I can't cut my hair. And I don't know why. I don't understand it. But if I don't do nothing but trust my gut. So I'm fat. That's how that works. So anyway, that's the hair issues if people are curious. The autism's getting worse. I got to really quit saying I have autism. I definitely probably have ADHD, but the autism's probably so minimal, or I'm so good at masking like a fucking superhero that I've noticed how you mention around certain people and they'll be like, no, my fucking nephew can't talk. And yeah, you're right. I'll quit using it. That way. Anyway, here's the first thing I'm going to talk about. Pay it forward chains and fast food lines. I fucking hate them. I wish everyone out there would just pay for their own fucking food and go on. The only time I like it is those videos on the internet where someone will like honk at someone in a drive-thru, and the person that got honked at will get to the first and go, you know what, I want to pay for the person behind me. And it starts off, you think the video is like, that they're being a nice guy to this asshole, but then they get up to the window and they're like, oh, actually I had 2 orders, I have 2 receipts here. And that shit is so funny if it's real. Now I kind of think most internet videos are fake. Maybe not most, like half of the good ones. And so who knows, but I like those ideas. But anyway, I saw someone, we have a local Facebook page in the town I'm in called a Rants and Raves page. I'm sure many cities out there you live in have them. And provides me a lot of entertainment, actually, because I'm not very involved with the community, but so I get all my news about the community from this Facebook page. It's a pretty good plan. But anyway, people are talking about how they love it and how they're at some place and we're like fucking 74 pay it forwards deep or some shit. But it happened to me maybe within the last year or two. I don't know if it's talking about on the podcast or not, but it's a restaurant right across the street from where I live. And I was going through and the lady was like, the person in front of you offered or paid for your meal. And I went, awesome, thanks. And then she was like expecting me to offer it, but I just didn't offer to pay for whoever was behind me. And then I pulled forward and I got my food, and I was the end of the pay it forward chain. Now, if I'm real honest, I in the moment it didn't all register. I was just like, oh, whatever. And I don't even know if there was anyone behind me. I felt like I might have been the fucking last in line. So I was like, I didn't know how this was going to work. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't like. It's the same reason I don't like getting Christmas gifts with with friends. I basically don't do it with anyone nowadays. I used to with Powwow a little bit. Then he had kids, and then I started getting his kids some, and then they moved away, and then it was just easier to be like, hey, what if we just don't do that? But fuck, even with my wife sometimes, it's just like around Christmas, I need to know if I have to get someone gifts or not. I'd rather just we don't do it, so I don't have to worry about it. It's kind of feel about the pay it for, like, let's just not do it, so it doesn't have to become a thing where it's like it's impolite or rude. Or how about you just pay for your food that you ordered, and then I'll pay for my food that I ordered. I don't understand how this is a difficult concept. Also, I know in that moment, if I'd been like, sure, I'll pay for the next person's, my fucking $12 order that mine was paid for, like behind me, like $27. And then I'm going to be like, well, no, fuck that, So I just don't want to put myself in that position to have to say, well, no, never mind. So I just say no in the first place. So, yeah, anyway, maybe if I would have paid it for that day, the good karma would have done something good, grand for me. And that was God testing me. And I failed. Man, my head is starting to itch with that fucking neck hair, the mullet hair, if you will, pushed up in there. All right, I have way too many things on my list that I'm trying to go through. I'm going to skip a couple. We might come back to them. Charlie Kirk, he was a person that was like a right-wing pundit he was the guy that went on the campuses and was like, hey, college kids that think you're a liberal, come debate me, a man who's really into conservatism or whatever. And then they would do it and the things would go viral. Some are good, some are not. I don't know. I'm not trying to judge this content, but that's the guy. If you're curious who it is, that guy got shot, assassinated, if you will. I don't know if it's assassinated, if you're just like what's mixed assassination versus just a murder attempt. I don't know. I never really thought about that. Normally we think assassinated is like a fucking secret agent was sent there. And if that's the case, then why do they call it the assassination attempt of Donald Trump, not just the murder attempt? Fuck, we got to look at it more. But anyway, Charlie Kirk was shot with a rifle from hundreds of yards away in his neck, facial region. It just happened like a handful of hours before I'm recording this. And then right before I record this, it was reported that he died, or Trump said that he died. And yeah, I mean, it's very sad that someone gets shot, of course, on a campus and dies. My on my Facebook, I have a lot of very conservative friends, being in the state I live in, like way more conservative than me. I'm definitely in the middle, maybe even a little left of the middle, but just slightly. Maybe not. I'm more libertarian, but something, I don't know. I go back and forth. But I have very conservative friends, and you definitely notice today after the Charlie Kirk news, people, just posting that it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, you got to feel for his family, which I agree with. But it's still like everyone that's posting it is like this sort of flag of like, well, I'm a conservative and this upsets me. And then I've some very liberal friends as well. And I've seen them post stuff and be like, yeah, well, he didn't speak out against the genocide in Palestine, which I mean, I would probably agree with my liberal friends on that as far as that issue, but I don't think it's really the time necessarily. Also, the Charlie Kirk fella, big defender of the Second Amendment. And there's a video of him saying, a few gun deaths a year is the price we pay to have a Second Amendment, and it's worth it. So people are sharing that to sort of be like, got him, which, that's internet culture. I'm not trying to judge them. I mean, of course, I am a little bit judgy people for doing that, but that's to be expected. That's whatever I talk shit about, and then I die from that, and people want to talk shit on me, I would understand it, I guess. Now, originally I thought he was gonna survive because that's what people were saying, and I was like, oh man, this motherfucker survives, and he comes out and was like, I still want guns legal, because he would. I mean, I don't think he would change his mind or whatever, but I was like, he's gonna be a problem, for the other side, if you will. But I don't know. And a lot of times, just all these shootings, it's all conspiratorial for me. I'm like, who did he piss off? Behind the scenes, what deal did he turn down? And they're like, we'll get even here. I don't know. And I know that's crazy. I mean, most likely just a crazy man. But the conspiratorial brain is always kind of on in these moments, especially with the Las Vegas shooting happened and you see some of the conspiracies coming out of that. And you're like, fuck, I don't know, anything can fucking happen. Anyway, so that's the biggest news currently right now. I don't know much about it besides fact. A lot of Facebook friends of mine. I say Facebook friends, people don't know because that's like people I know. I'm sure that's how most people use these things. But like Facebook is like people you know in real life. And then all the other ones, at least for me, like X or Twitter. I still call it Twitter, but I try to say X because, it's the symbol you see all the time. That's like the internet friends that are probably more of my friends than, Facebook friends are. So I'm saying like people I know live around this area. They're very sad about it. I mean, I've seen a dozen posts probably today about the guy. And then I think what's also not alarming to me, but I know I'm very internet online. I'm always online and I care about politics a lot. So I'm actually very familiar with Charlie Kirk and his work and seen so many videos. I'm just not necessarily like a big conservative guy, but I watch a lot of conservative stuff. I watch a lot of liberal stuff. Kind of like to see what everyone's talking shit about a little bit. But yeah, there's about 4 people I today was like, oh, did you see Charlie Kirk down? And they were like, yeah, I saw it, but I don't know who that is. And I'd explain it to them who it was. And they were still like, yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen that guy. And I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. I think I've seen him at least one video a week for the last fucking 4 years or some shit. I was also very surprised he was only 31. I just thought he read older. I thought he was older than I was, but he was not. So anyway, big sad news. And what else I got on my little list here? Oh, I guess just speaking of that, because the Charlie Kirk thing, and then there's another big news story that's death related. So let's just lump them all together here. But there's a Ukrainian refugee girl that was on a bus in North Carolina, and she got stabbed, and then I think it was fatal when she died by a schizophrenic black man on a bus. And the video comes out, and it is crazy. I mean, the girl's itty bitty, so I think that plays into it also a little bit. So yeah, the video's everywhere and stuff. But what I notice is a lot of like white, not all white people, of course, but that type of white people who definitely kind of get in the race baity stuff. And there's people in every race that gets in the race baity stuff, I will say. They're posting like, this is our George Floyd moment. This is where we got to stand up and we got to kick these people out of the country, which reads like they're saying kick black people out of the country. And you're like, well, that's not, I don't, that's too far. I can't agree with you on that one. And I think, I think that's you can't just generalize. Like, I understand like that is like a big thing on the internet right now for both sides, both black people and white people. I understand there's more sides in those races, but those are the two that get fed in my algorithm. But you see a lot of like white people being like black fatigue. I'm tired of seeing all this or whatever. And then you see black people the same way of like all these trashy white people. And then they're always saying, and I know the algorithm pushes the divide or whatever, that's part of it. But I don't know. I think you could see that video, and I think anybody, regardless of race, would be like, oh, that man is completely in the wrong for stabbing that girl. And then people, I guess the guy had been arrested like a bunch of times over the years, and they always let him out because he has schizophrenia. And they're like, well, we can't just keep you because I have schizophrenia. And then people are like, well, what the hell? And that is an issue, but it's an issue that started like 50 years ago or more when they denationalize the like insane asylum, like the places that would have taken care of this, like the homes and stuff. And there was pitched as this idea of like, well, their family and communities will take care of them. It doesn't need to be on the federal government, which is the type of shit, someone nowadays, even probably myself, would claim, if we were still paying for it, be like, what the fuck, we're paying for that. But I think that probably is worth it to, if we need to lock these people, I mean, I know it sounds horrible, but if we got to lock up someone in a home where they got abused and mistreated, that was the stories, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, all that era stuff. That is bad, but maybe it is worth it to protect, people to be able to ride a fucking bus. I don't know. It sounds, because then, people started to GoFundMe for the killer of the girl, which is insane that's a thing. Because again, there's like video evidence of it happening. This isn't like hearsay, like you can see it. So yeah, I don't know. That's a big news story, but I only want to talk about that to say like so that and Charlie Kirk, that's 2 videos I've seen this week of someone being murdered on a video that I can watch it. Now, this isn't necessarily new to me, but when I was a teenager, this is in the aughts, which is 2000, 2009. That really is my era, if you will. Back then you had to like go out of your fucking way to watch a goddamn Faces of Death or Rotten Dog, something where you're gonna see someone get fucking murdered. You had to like kind of really work for it in a way. Now, I wasn't like a gross gory horror fan or anything, so I didn't necessarily look these things out too much, but you'd come across it in your travels on the interwebs. But nowadays it's like you're just scrolling and there it is. There's like someone being murdered, and you're like, God damn, it's pretty crazy. So we're a little desensitized, I think, to a lot of this stuff. I think things don't even seem real in some ways because so much stuff happens all the time. So Charlie Kirk thing, big deal around here. The girl, the guy, I wish I knew her name, but Ukrainian refugee girl that killed in the bus. I told my wife about it this morning. So like, have you heard this news story? It's a big deal. And then like she went down the rabbit hole like, oh my God, this is horrible. I'm like, yeah. So I don't know if many people actually know about that one, but I think that's some of the argument from some of the pro-whites, if you will. It's like, this should be the biggest news story. And it's like, it probably should be bigger. But I don't, who chooses the news programs? That's the question we have. Also, I'm curious if we have any Epstein document updates. I don't think we do yet, but I gotta just keep mentioning it because pedophiles run our government and they got caught once upon a time and then they covered up in broad daylight and no one can do anything. So I'm gonna say no one cares because some people like care in a way of like, no, I want to vote. That's interesting. But like, what the fuck are you gonna do? Nothing. So I think this shit might be over. I mean, here's our best case scenario. Someone younger than myself, I'm 37, so I could run for president. So if myself, or someone younger in the future gets in the office, they're like, no, I've been curious since a young man about this, the conspiracy, or young woman, about all this. We're releasing that as you're getting to the bottom. Maybe far in the future, but we would have thought Kennedy shit would have been fully declassified by now. And I think there's still shit that's redacted in that. So it probably won't happen. But anyway, maybe someday. Also, I would love to run for president, but I have a criminal record. I've been arrested. And I think that is a thing. And then also, I didn't go to an Ivy League school. Now, understand, I'm saying things that Donald Trump has also, I guess, done. So maybe he has changed it. Maybe that something I never dreamed possible. I could get in it. I just need a rich donor who sees the vision. And do I know what my vision is? Not exactly. It's fucking don't be a dumb fuck 2028 or whatever. That's my motto. Anyway, so speaking of Epstein, I saw this Chinese professor talking about Israel. Now, it's one of those things you watch it on TikTok and you're like, are the Chinese converting me to, whatever their plan is for me? Why am I worshiping their one true leader or whatever? But anyway, this guy's talking about how is the government of Israel is doing the atrocities they're doing in broad daylight on purpose, like them, blowing up people like children in residential areas and starving people, not letting them get the aid. And they're doing all these things that like everyone's like, yeah, this is fucking purely evil. UN's like sanctioning or not even sanctioning, but claiming, they're committing, I don't know what the term is. I want to say war crimes. I don't know if that's actually right. That sort of stuff's happening. But anyway, this Chinese professor is claiming that is all on purpose because from the last however many years, they know how to, if someone hates on them, they know how to use that in their advantage as well. So like they're just going to do all this stuff. People can get mad all they want. And then you talk shit about it. And then they might call you anti-Semitic, And I don't know if that's true, but it makes sense because I always under the assumption that like Israel had the greatest like secret services and shit. And it's like, well, they could just fucking swoop in there in the cover at night and just, with all their intelligence and figure this stuff out. But they are kind of just kind of leveling shit, it seems like. So anyway, stay tuned to that. I'm sure that conflict isn't close to over. according to some people, like Lebanon's next and shit like that. So if that stuff comes to be, then a lot of the sort of conspiracy theorists now are going to sound a lot more reasonable then, but only time will tell, all we got are guesses. That's all we got. So, all right. I was going to play a song, but there's one more kind of current event thing that's going on. And I feel like it'd be I need to get it in here. And that's Drewski's white face skit. So Drewski went to a NASCAR event dressed up as basically a guy that looks somewhat like me. I'm a fat white guy, and enjoyed his country ass in a NASCAR thing. Now I would never go to NASCAR. I played a few video games here and there of it, but that's not my culture. I'm not a car guy or whatever, and I'm not country enough for it either. But I respect it. In some way, I do kind of enjoy NASCAR, like from an outsider perspective. I think it is kind of cool. Anyway, Drewski goes this. He's all in whiteface. He is like the makeup artist from some movie, that is famous from some movie they did, and they got him looking real white. I think the key was they like add a little bit of sunburn in the tan lines and stuff like that. And this whole body also, it's not just a white face; it is a whole body, a white body. And I made a little skit. It was funny enough. I'm not a huge like Drewski fan in general. It's just on my typical type of humor. But I did see it, and then Theo Von, who is friends with Drewski, by the way, they've done many skits together. They did that Digger sketch, which people think is a real movie, and it might get turned into one, but it is not actually one. So they're friends. So Theo Von's like, oh, I guess it's on now. I'm about to get me a Jerry curl. And, implying he's going to do blackface with Jerry curl. And now I think Theo Von can honestly pull it off. If I think he has a history. He grew up around, he was like the white kid, I think, on his basketball team, like the only one. And, I just think he has some sort of thing he probably pulled off. But I guess what I found annoying about the story is there are certain black people that were maybe like, if anyone mentions how this is anything like blackface, you're getting blocked, or you don't know the history, or whatever the thing, right? And what they're really saying, and I think we need new words for stuff, because it's like, if Drewski can do this and it's funny, and I think it is, I do think, and Dave Chappelle did it as well, every time he was a news anchor or whatever, it was very good. If someone really committed, say a Theo Von, went full, like all, real makeup, like a Hollywood makeup artist, and did it like a Robert Downey Jr. did in Tropic Thunder, which he pulled it off, no one got mad, because it was like I don't know, he was part of the bit, I guess, also the joke, but like, they did like his full thing. It wasn't like, he wasn't doing the old, like the fucking outline where just this round circle is painted charcoal black, and then we're going to leave a huge thing with like big red lips or whatever, like to make, like, I understand that history where it's like, oh yes, that was racist and that was fucked up. That is not someone like trying to go Hollywood makeup level of blackface of like, no, let's see if I could pull it off, trick someone in a scenario, like a prank show. Like that should all, I think, be on the table. If when these people were, if Drewski, when he was doing whiteface, was instead just drawing like a fucking geisha mask or whatever on his, what his skin looks like without doing the body stuff, and then went around and was doing like offensive white things, don't even know what the fuck that would be, but like that, maybe that would be closer than what they're claiming, like you can't be doing blackface. But he was like in a character where they had professional makeup. I just feel like that should count for something. And if someone's like, I want to do the same thing, you would assume that's what they would have on the other side. So people are just getting a little, I don't even know, it's too worked up, because I do think, it could be offensive, or, many throughout history where it was with the, I wish I could think of the name right now. My wife would know for sure. The whatever shows, where the people did the blackface. And then a lot of like, even our early cartoons are references to blackface. Like that's the reason the Mickey Mouse has fucking white gloves and all those characters, is because that's what the blackface performance. God, I can't believe I can't think of what that term is. So anyway, I understand like that can all be offensive, but it seems like it'd be cool to not be offended by, like you'd be happier to not necessarily be offended and just enjoy the Drewski skit. And then if, I don't think the Ovan will do anything, but if someone did do a skit and it was funny, then cool. Again, like I think Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, I guess asked specifically black friends, be like, hey, what did you think about that? But I haven't heard any too much negative feedback. Now people sometimes complain about Jimmy Kimmel. He had one back in the day where maybe he's supposed to be Magic Johnson and he does blackface. I think Sarah Silverman. There's a few comedians that have done it, and people were upset about. But I don't know the context. But I think you can be mad. I just thought it was weird how people were getting preemptively mad at Theo Von, who I don't care one way or the other about, just because he made a joke about getting a Jerry curl and him doing blackface. So anyway, let me know out there right in the podcast. Every time I say that, I plan on popping this up, but who knows if I remember. All right, let's play the first fucking song around here. I had to keep it with Sir Nasty. I thought about not how this might be the first one where we do not start with Sir Nasty, but I then remembered that he sent me a whole album when the podcast was on the hiatus. Came out earlier this year, and the album was called I Got Problems. It is the first of the Problems trilogy. Now, I do have to say, and I may have said this before, I feel like Brad and I was the origin of this whole trilogy. We have a song on our album, Bros, called Problem that I'm going to play at the end of this episode. And we sent this over to Sir Nasty to be on it. And he was going to be on it. And then he sends back this thing that's like, nah, he's just going to do this whole thing. And then he's also naming his album, I Got Problems. And we're like, he's naming his album the name of what this song, well, And so I kind of feel like, if anything, we were inspiration. Now, it all worked out. I do think it's been a while ago, and I don't know what happened. In my mind, I do think he did record something on that Problem song, but he did 2 verses. And so we decided to call it a remix, and we just gave it to him for him to put out. So maybe that'll come out someday. Soko, if you're listening, let me know if I'm correct on that. I feel that's like my memory, but I know we do a lot of shit on the music stuff, so who knows? So anyway, the name of the song is I Got Problems off of the album I Got Problems here by Sir Nasty. So let's give it a listen.
Y'all pray for me. I got problems. Fuck you want me to say?
Yeah, I smoke like Bob Marley and the Wailers. Drink and I cuss like a goddamn sailor. I love Taylor, but I didn't know what to tell her. Roll up my Mary Jane, then I inhale her, a fella. Picture me in a Maserati getting head on the way to mozzarella. Yeah, dead bodies in the basement, heads chopped off, fine wine in the cellar. Yeah, my flow is evangelistic. You blink one time, damn man, you missed it. I work a whole out like Planet Fitness and bust a nigga shit like a can of biscuits. Shit. I don't wanna talk, let's text. Bitch, I don't wanna fight, let's sex. I know they talking about a nigga, what's next? They can say what they want, they ain't stopping no checks. These hoes thinking they the shit now. I'm like, wow, hoes really talking shit now. Cause you done sold a little pussy, you done got a little money, little ratchet ass bitch, better sit down. Hold up. You talking to a king, you talking to a G, I don't care about a thing. I told my girl I know a lesbian couple got married, let's see if them bitches wanna swing. Next, I got problems, you got problems. He got problems, she got problems. They got problems, we got problems. Fuck them haters, they don't want no problems. I got problems, you got problems. He got problems, she got problems. They got problems, we got problems. Fuck them haters, they don't want no problems. I got problems, you got problems. He got problems, she got problems. They got problems, we got problems. Fuck them haters, they don't want no problems. I got problems, you got problems. He got problems, she got problems. They got problems, we got problems. Fuck them haters, they don't want no problems. It's cold out here, but shit get chilly. Niggas really killing in my city. I be laid up with some titties in the Philly. I'm fresh like a prince and I got a big willy. Nasty. I heard them hoes be getting real money out of y'all. She was sucking on the nigga when I got the call. Nigga say he got my money, he ain't got it all. Shoot that nigga in his balls, I ain't got it all. It wasn't about the money, no, not at all. When it come to the syrup bar, I got a ball. Go hard on these hoes, I don't stop at all. Uncle Carl told me that he out of paw. What these motherfuckers doing in the world, dog? It really don't concern that dude. I told you I was talking to them ashes, but I ain't tell you that the urn had moved. What the fuck? I don't fuck with the she-hop. It's horror, Tupac, nigga, we pop. Real niggas really know how to G-rock. Last night I was thinking about treetop. It is what it is and it was what it was. Got an OG cuz named D-Rock. I do's what I do's and I does what I does. It because of the motherfucking G-block. I got problems, you got problems. He got problems, she got problems. They got problems, we got problems. Fuck them haters, they don't want no problems. I got problems, problems, you got problems. He got problems, she got problems. They got problems, we got problems. Fuck them haters, they don't want no problems. I got problems, you got problems. He got problems, she got problems. They got problems, we got problems. Fuck them haters, they don't want no problems. I got problems, you got problems. He got problems, she got problems. They got problems, we got problems. Fuck them haters, they don't want no problems.
You know I keep it 1,000 with my family. I had some problems trying to mix this album down, but we gon' rock out anyway. Y'all fuck with me.
Sir Nasty with I Got Problems. Hey, the Mo makes beats beat. And that's me, Hey, the Mo. I got this Krusty the Clown thing happening over here. It's pretty sweet. Work on that. It's almost like I don't know. I got a sort of asymmetrical thing going on. It's cool look. Sir Nasty, always holding it down. I'm excited to hear his new album. I'll be honest, I'm surprised I don't have it yet. Now, I may not be done, but they normally do send me stuff over early. And then I go through them and be like, what beat is this? So then I put it all throughout my notes. Someday, if I ever done special episodes, bonus shit, a Patreon, anything, I might just go through all the fucking beat notes. Think a special type of person will probably find it entertaining. But if that person's like me, they might, there are another random thing that I keep being like, ooh, that could be a segment, but it won't be because I think it wouldn't be that interesting to people and it would take a lot of work. But how like you have like certain songs that just pop in your head all the time. I just really feel like the last month or so, I've been really paying attention to what songs they are. And they're like so random. It's like not even songs I listen to. I don't even really listen to music that much anymore, which is very sad. I should listen to more. But like the other day, like fucking, this is actually what started when Brooks and Dunn's Neon Moon. And I was like, when the fuck is the last time I heard Neon Moon? Like, I've never even, I don't listen to country music like that. Like my dad does and my, family and people around me did. But I was like, oh man, it's crazy. And then I'll notice the most random like 90s soft rock or fucking, some oldies song, maybe even a more modern rap song, just like fucking Ransom by Lil Tecca was in my head for fucking 4 days straight. And I was like, oh my God, get this shit on my head. And then I can't stop singing the goddamn In the City Where I Used to Drive You Car fucking Justin Bieber song. And the thing is, the Justin Bieber song isn't even that good. But producers on TikTok have put a beat behind it that's actually good. And that is so addicting that I just sing that fucking In the City Where I Used to Ride You Car, and then I fucking sing that song basically all day to myself for the last few days. So only the second Justin Bieber song on my like songs list, and nothing against him, just that's just how it goes sometimes. But yeah, it's really, these fucking remixes to it are so good. I need to learn how to remix. My goal someday when I quit music, when I quit like doing the vocal music, because it's getting there. I'm getting old, I'm not respected. The money isn't worth it because it doesn't exist. But I do think I could go back, strip the vocals off old shit, try to do like the DJ turn, try to turn my vocals into like some, the upbeat club EDM tracks. And I might fail miserably, but that might be the next move after I finally get all the words out. I'm about there. Everything all right feels the same. We're talking the group chat the other day with Brad and Soko, where Brad's like, I felt like I reused this line. I'm like, oh my God, I fucking reuse lines all the time. Not even like on purpose. Just have like, I've made hundreds and hundreds of songs. Before my first time I was a rapper, from 2007-ish is when I started freestyling, till 2010, which is when I kind of quit. 2011, maybe officially, is whenever I officially like, I guess I'm done there. I'm graduated college or whatever. At that time, I'd done like 200 to 300 songs, most of them not good, and that wasn't including all the dumb freestyles that were really shitty. But I'd done a lot of songs. Maybe that includes some dumb freestyles. I don't remember. But since then, since I've been back produce myself and all that, I've probably made like 500 songs or something. I'm probably not, I don't know. That's like seems like a high estimate, but it's probably close to that. It's probably close to that. I'll count it up sometime in the future and verify. But it's a lot. So it's like impossible not, and like I wish I could be in character and like talk about shooting people or something, but that's just really hard for me. So most of it sounds the same, you know. We're eating pussy. It's gushy. The weed's cushy, you know. That's just that's what we rap about. So, you know, let's see what happens. All right. I don't know how I got off topic there, but my plan is always in these second segments when it's just me. We talk sports. We talk video games. Let's do sports first. Let me see if I can find my thing. Now, the biggest sports news story is in my world at the moment, now because I'm a big basketball fan, as you can tell from my attire, is the Kawhi Leonard Los Angeles Clippers cap circumvention story. So if you're interested, and if you're listening to this podcast, yeah, probably aren't, but you could be. You can get the full breakdown of this on Pablo Torre Finds Out. Last time I referenced this podcast, I think I called it Pablo Torre Knows Everything or something like that. But it's called Pablo Torre Finds Out. And he basically is an investigative journalist turned podcast. I mean, it's not exactly how he got there, but that's what he has somehow got into this world where he is, you know, doing the journalism, if you will. Now he has broke a few different stories, but this is the most recent really got me. Basically, there was this company called Aspiration. They claim, you know, like rich companies would pay them money to offset their carbon footprint. So if like whatever company takes private jets and does whatever with their carbon footprint, they pay some money, and then Aspiration will go plant trees, and that offsets the carbon footprint. So then those rich people get to be guilt-free or whatever. That's basically the premise. The Aspiration company signed a deal with the Clippers. Like they were going to be maybe their logo or something, some sponsorship deal, basically. And then Steve Ballmer, who's the owner of the Clippers and the sixth richest man in the world, was part of Microsoft back in the day. He invested $50 million, at least according to the paper trail that they have at the moment. He invested $50 million in this company. That company turned around and hired Kawhi Leonard, who was the star player of the Clippers, and a $28 million contract. And then it's been since reported by a different person that's investigating this, and also $20 million in stock options. So that'd be a total of $48 million for a no-show contract, like an endorsement, but he didn't have to actually do anything to get the money. And something in there is like, if he didn't play for the Clippers, the contract could be terminated. So people are trying to use it as like, there's the smoking gun. But I do think, and Mark Cuban went on Pablo Torre's podcast and explained this as well, and so I guess I agree with Mark Cuban on this, that would make sense if they were like a sponsorship of the team, and that they were like, well, we don't want to sponsor someone if they get traded or what. Like, you know, I do think they can cut themselves there. But either way, Kawhi Leonard never did one social media post, never did one video, didn't show up to any events. They didn't announce he was a part of the company. He had the biggest contract than any other indoor. I mean, they had like Robert Downey Jr. and, you know, some other athletes and stuff. No one got paid near this much. It's more than he made from his New Balance shoe deal. And there is something in the players agreement thing where like you have to get fair market value for sponsorships, because this is like an area where an owner could use some of their money to circumvent the cap. I mean, famously, Mark Cuban during Dirk Nowitzki's last years, Dirk took a $10 million a year contract. You're like, that's crazy. He could make like twice that somewhere else. But he wanted to stay with the Mavericks. But then Mark Cuban was also funding the Dirk documentary. So he paid him like a whole bunch of money behind the scenes for this documentary. And people thought then that was kind of crazy. So anyway, that's the news story, basically. This company, Aspiration, so it looks like Steve Ballmer, the owner, gave him $50 million. They turned around and gave $48 million of that to Kawhi Leonard as like an extra. That's some extra money that's not counted on the cap. So people that don't watch sports, the reason why a cap's there is so that one team can't just pay all the money for one. You know, it keeps it competitive. They have like a limit that a team can spend, and so people, like I said, probably have been circumnavigating it a little bit. The cap, circumventing the cap. Slightly, over the years with little things here and there. But this was pretty blatant. Got caught because the company went bankrupt and went under. And then the thing that really annoys me about some of the Steve Ballmer defenders, because I'm definitely on the Pablo Torre side of like, yeah, I kind of believe his reports. It makes sense to me what was going on. Is like Mark Cuban and some other people, rich people, they'll come out and defend it and be like, well, we don't know yet. But it's like their defense is always like, well, Steve Ballmer wouldn't be this dumb. He's such a smart guy. He wouldn't be this stupid. But I just don't think that's a good excuse. Like, oh, this guy's just too smart to commit a crime. Okay, well then why ever think of him to do anything bad? Like he's just a genius, could ever slip. I don't know. I just think it's a dumb fucking excuse. Like, if anything, I think a super mega billionaire is like, they think they can get away with it. That's how I read it. But what am I? I'm just a poor fucking. I'm a poor fuck, so that's just how it goes. And as far as another basketball story, Dwight Howard and Carmelo Anthony made the NBA Hall of Fame. Didn't really get too much fanfare. I didn't hear much about the Hall of Fame this year during their stuff. Dwight Howard has a up and down legs. I mean, it was great the first half of his career. There towards the end, he kind of fell off. But that's how a lot of centers are, And I think he takes a lot of shit because of his personality. People thought he was like a child and he wasn't cool enough. Kobe called him a bitch. So therefore, I kind of agree because Kobe was my dude back in the day. I also think he's gay. And so that made some people were probably like, didn't like that. And there are, rumors and people that have claimed, people that are like, no, I've had sex with it. Like they've claimed these things that are, guys or whatever. So who knows that's true. But I think that probably was why maybe he didn't get the respect by some of his peers. But Dwight Howard was very good early in his career. And then Carmelo Anthony was one of my favorite players when he played. I loved Carmelo. I love the Syracuse run he had. Honestly, associating more with Syracuse than any NBA team. And that was just back when I watched so much sports and I just probably watched all of the March tournament or whatever. So yeah, I loved Carmelo. Whenever he came in for the Nuggets, I thought he should have won Rookie of the Year. If I have to be real honest, what probably started my sort of being a LeBron hater was that I thought Carmelo deserved the Rookie of the Year in the moment, like using their numbers. And I was like, they're just giving it to LeBron because he's LeBron and he was the promised one. Or like, that was my thought. And I thought they robbed Carmelo. And then I liked Carmelo a lot, basically. And then when he went to the Knicks, there was something about him forcing the trade and he like depleted the team he was going to when he could have just waited 6 months and signed with the Knicks. I thought that was weird. And then I didn't really like him on the Knicks. Like he kind of always underperformed. I know I listened to a lot of NBA podcasts this week. They're like, he was always the best. But my memories of Carmelo on the Knicks was like, oh, I thought he was going to do better than that. Like they always had a lot of potential, a lot of hype. I don't think he ever made a conference finals. He might have made one, but I loved Carmelo then, but like in hindsight, I don't know if I love the Knicks era all that much. But Denver Carmelo was one of my favorites, if not my favorite. That's like, I don't remember which NBA 2K it was that would have had it, but I'm trading for Carmelo anytime I can. We can pull that off. So I did it. And then my last sports topic would be the NFL. The NFL happened. Now I know when y'all hear this, 2 weeks that have passed. I have only 1 week has passed where I am in time. I actually did watch a couple games, maybe 3 games, opening weekend. The first one I watched was Jets Steelers, which was a very good game. And then the Vikings played, I want to say the Bears, but yeah, I think it was the Bears, Vikings Bears. And that was a good game. So, I got like 2 good games. And I remember thinking like, am I back on football? One of my favorite things is to kind of talk shit about how I used to love football. But for the last 5 years or so, I kind of just decided to mentally check out and I lost, I just lost that fandom and I didn't have to worry about it. It freed up time in my life and brain space. But it was really because I was a fan of fantasy football and not the NFL. I was just really watching for my guys and, the gamification of my fantasy football league. I think I'm back to just enjoying football like a normal person. I just watched them while I hung out here and it was actually a pretty enjoyable time. I even watched a college game, I think the day before that. So maybe I'm back on football. I lost maybe I got all the fantasy shit out of my blood and now I'm back to I can just watch the game like, oh, this is enjoyable or whatever. So we'll see. I kind of still don't like the NFL. I don't like how it's also expensive now and they've priced out the average man. But anyway, I might be back on just in case. I do have an NFL hat. I know I only normally wear Thunder hats, but I do have another one here. I can swap out. That's my Jacksonville hat. So if I'm back, I maybe get a new hat. I haven't worn this one in a long time. I normally like to have just the slightest bend. That's typically my style. But we'll see if we get it there. It's been in the closet for 5 years because I haven't watched football. But my wife wears my old Jacksonville T-shirts around, so I am reminded that I'm a fan. Now, the way I chose Jacksonville is not exciting, but my whole family, my grandfather, my mom's stepdad, technically, but he was my grandfather my whole life. He loves the Cowboys. He had Cowboy season tickets when I was growing up at the old Texas Stadium, and they would sell like half of them or whatever they would sell to make the money back, and then we'd get the other tickets to go. We'd go see the game, and so I remember watching Super Bowl 30 was the first game I have vivid memories of, which the Cowboys were in the Super Bowl. And at that time, I guess I was a Cowboys fan. I was like, this is fine. But then just everyone was so cocky. They were Cowboys fans and I didn't like them. Even at 6, 7 years old, I was like, God damn, shut up. I'm tired of hearing we them boys and I'm fucking 7. So I hated the fandom. And I don't necessarily think it's Cowboys because people like this for the Sooners and a few other teams around. It's just how people are. I didn't like that fandom. So I was like, I'm just not a Cowboys fan. Fuck them. I am a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. They're a brand new team and they're that green in the color. Now, of the 3 new teams that came out, the Ravens, Jacksonville, and the Panthers, Jacksonville has had the worst luck. They've had the worst luck of most teams ever in the NFL. Powwow, best friend, called Drew May guy. He's a Lions fan. So we just always have shitty teams we watched or whatever in college. So I like the Jacksonville Jaguars. I really do not like their pick of Trevor Lawrence. I've never been a believer, still not. Also loved Gardner Minshew, who they had before him, and I was like, let's just ride Gardner Minshew. And then they didn't do that. So I kind of checked out with that and the fantasy football and the whatever. But I have not watched a Jacksonville game this year yet because I just watch whatever fucking's on the TV, the CBS local channel I have. But maybe I will. Maybe one will come up and then we might get more Jacksonville hats. But in honor of me maybe getting back in the NFL, wear this hat the rest of the episode. All right, video games. Now, I haven't played much, if I have to be real honest. The first thing I have a clip for is a game called Viewfinder. It was on PlayStation Plus. If you don't know, that's it's like Netflix or video games or whatever. Kind of, not exactly, but kind of. And so it was a game they gave out there. It looks so cool. It's such a cool premise. It's like a 3D world, and you hold up a photograph, and you hit a button, and whatever's in that photograph just exists in the world. And you're like, kind of fucking trippy, right? It's like if you're on mushrooms playing this, you'd be like, what the fuck? So there's something that looks very cool and puzzly about it. You're like, oh, this will be fun. And then it wasn't good at all. I quit very quickly. It was like, this sucks. So that one was a bummer. That was a bummer. I noticed how long I've been doing this. I'm like, oh, fuck, this is going way longer than I anticipated. So sorry for everyone who likes the hour-long episodes. It looks like we might be going over that. We will definitely be going over that, but I'll try not to be too much longer. And the other game I'm playing, of course, like always, is College Football 26. I keep claiming I'm done with it, and then I just keep playing it. I can't help myself. And it's actually taken a pretty positive turn, which I'm sure we'll see some videos for here. The positive turns are, so my full journey, I know no one cares, but I got to tell you anyway. Started as an offensive coordinator for Oklahoma State University. I have a whole video series of my first season with that. Didn't get many views. Totally fine. Probably wasn't that good. But you can watch my whole first journey there. And honestly, I think we did good. I won a lot of games. So that was fun. And then I took my first job after a couple of seasons of offensive coordinating. I got a job at Army, and I became their head coach. They had a good quarterback. I won the national championship my first year with Army, which is like, what the fuck? That's crazy. And then the game should really like recognize the incredibleness of that, but it doesn't really. And so then you're on your next year. Eventually, we lose the good quarterback. And we have a guy that's like rated good, but when I play as him, he sucks. And I'm like, I cannot win with Arnold. Like all of a sudden, I was good and then I wasn't good, and I could pull off some wins, but it was like come down the wire, and it was like not fun playing it. So anyway, I keep sticking out. I was like, well, eventually I'll get a good recruiting class, but at some point in time, I got a job offer for Michigan State, a bunch of schools, but I started looking at their rosters, and Michigan State had a really good quarterback that was young, and I was like, I bet this will be good. I go there. I have this awesome quarterback, 2 awesome wide receivers. I would say 3 of my top 5 people on my team are the quarterback and 2 receivers. So all of a sudden now I am destroying teams by like 5-6 touchdowns because I'm just calling the same few plays every play, and my receivers are so good and my quarterback's so good that I just fucking destroyed everyone. Won the national championship my first year at Michigan State, and then because the game's fucking stupid, they're like, oh yeah, my quarterback wants to transfer because our team doesn't have good enough pro potential because Michigan State hasn't developed many pro athletes, guys that went to the NFL. But I was about to. That motherfucker would have went to the NFL. So anyway, he transfers out. I transfer in an even better quarterback. And now I have 5 receivers that are better than any receiver I ever had on the other team. And also an awesome quarterback. And I am just destroying every fucking team I play in the new season. And it actually has made the game pretty fun, just being completely dominant. Now, this will wear off to where I'm like, all right, well, this is boring. But because I was struggling for so long with the shitty Army team, I think my real problem is playing all these times. Like, the game's really hard. I think it is hard when you play with shitty teams. But that's the fun part to me. It's like taking a shitty team, making them good. But Michigan State, just a fucking 82 or whatever they were, like, there's my other teams are 72 overall. It's an 82 overall. And now I'm like, the man. So, you play the better team. The game's a little more fun. That's what I've learned about college football 26. I forget. NCAA is not in the title anymore. And then very quickly, I'll talk about it more in the future episode, but I've went down the rabbit hole of purchasing a fat PS2, putting a hard drive in it, getting a McBoot memory card, and maybe getting like 700 gigabytes of PlayStation 2 games in it. And that should all be finalized in the next day or two. I'm kind of in the middle of setting it all up. And then I'm going to just play too many games. And really, I purchased, the only game I refuse to download is a game called Monster Rancher 4 because it's one of my all-time favorites. And I feel like you really need the disc to play it for the optimal experience. I couldn't imagine any other way. And so I may talk about that on a future episode if I get back into it. And then I might just become a PS2 game streamer. That might become the lane. Who knows? Rather than podcast, let me know. All right. Let's play a song here. I'm going to be taking too long. It's from our homie. It's your boy H2. When I say that, I imagine Skinny's here repeating. Same with Sir Nasty. But it's never there when he's not here. So the light's not on because Skinny ain't here. All right. H your boy H2. The name of this song is Suddenlee. And this is off of, I don't remember, to be honest. It might be a single. Let me see here if I can get this pulled up. There we go. I still haven't found like a real cool method to make that. I gotta be a better DJ. I've also explained, I have a whole projector. I don't know if y'all can see it if I just turn it on like this, but I think you at least see like the black outline. I feel like there should be some way I can use this projector. Yeah, you can barely see it there, but anyway, when the PlayStation's up, it's like a screen and shit. So I feel like I should be like putting something up there to be fancy, so maybe I'll look up for some fancy shit in the future. Anyway, Suddenly, it's your boy H2. Let us give it a listen.
A2thaMo makes beats.
Check the bases, I feel loaded.
Every vein corroded, cause I don't know what's over these fences, but I'm sober. And these folks so messed up, ho, you think that it's October. Shocks on her, 6'4", rental, no owner, blood donor. I'm folded, so crippled, can't hold it. Don't know what I'm gonna do this time, cause I'm so lonely. And everybody who I thought knew me, turns out that they don't know me. Named your daughter Naomi, and you thought that shit was cute, but now she's taking turns on the homies. Well, you used to do the same shit too, so it's not like you don't notice this goddamn life bogus. R.I.P. my focus, still popping like sodas. This chick have a peg leg, I swear hocus pocus. When we ain't looking, it's creepy. I'm just hoping she's really a chick and she thinks that I'm dreamy. In between, so creamy, eyes need to be beaming like I came down with some sick shit, but y'all couldn't catch the meaning. No glove, no love, I'm leaving.
Up in the distance, the game's dragging on. There's stripes on the batter, some runners are on. And suddenly, everyone's looking at me. My mind has been wondering, what could it be? They point to the
We was riding them razors, so I know all about that scooter. Said I've been killed in this fucking field while they conceal the shooter. So what the fuck did I make up? Can you ask Barracuda? Matata, why mama lie, I'ma die summer. It's a heat wave, cops heavy, bullet holes up in your Chevy. They drive by just to say bye, pop up like you're not ready. You were supposed to be dressed so we could turn your white all red and it wouldn't look like a mess. Just a message sent to the best, right through your vest, like a carnation in the car waiting. Cause I believed when they promised me that there wouldn't be no stress, but instead I wake up with more, so I can just feel less upset and just confess to some shit that don't even matter. No matter how mad I get, this baggage is as bad as the bitch that was cramming a badge up in her shit. What a fucked up grip I have on the way that I have to spit, cause if I didn't I'd have a fit and it still wouldn't fucking match, cause the latch is flipped so attackers get to get everything attached. And that's
Up in the distance, the game's dragging on. There's stripes on the batter, some runners are on. And suddenly, everyone's looking at me. My mind has been wondering, what could it be?
Eight of the Mo makes beats.
It's your boy H2 with Suddenlee, and that is off of Outfield. There's the album. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, he's been fucking posting that shit all week. I don't know how I forgot the name of it. But yeah, I like H2 on the guitar beats. That's always very fun. Like when I make an acoustic guitar type beats, not all of them go to H2, but a lot of them do. You know, like he is definitely, that's the vibes. Feel like it works. No, I don't love the sample. I told him that when he first sent it to me, and it sounded worse. He did do something to make it sound a little better, fit better on there. I'm sure it's from something that's like important in some way, but to me, it's like, it sounds a little forced, I guess, in some way, but you know, if it's meaningful, then I guess you do it for the art. You know, I've definitely done shit for the art before. All right, anyway, shout out H2. Y'all go check out Flatliner Music. That is his group, the homies of his. All right, let's see what's next. So I was looking at the time there. I'll try to be quick here. The thing I mentioned, I teased it last week. Well, there's two things I teased last week. I'll see if I can knock them both out here at the end. One is the end to the documentary Unknown Number on Netflix. I talked about with Soko last week a little bit, or the first half of it, where basically these 12-year-old couple are getting harassed in this group text messages by an anonymous person who's like talking all weird and hateful towards them, but also like weird and sexual and shit too. And so, you know, it's all fucking weird. And then there's like a big twist and it reveals who the person is. The FBI gets involved, tracing numbers, all that. And then it turns out it's Kendra. And Kendra is the girl who was being harassed mother. And then like she's been being interviewed the whole time. So it's like, holy shit, that lady, you know? And so I think you're really surprised as the viewer. Like that is the whole point of the thing, is to like set you up for this one moment, because typically people aren't talking to the like, you know, what sounds, I was gonna say the accuser, but it's not the accuser, but like, you know, the person's actually doing it, like the one that's harassing people. Like you're talking to her the whole time and she's like talking, you know, without giving it away, or at least the way they're editing cut it. And yeah, so anyway, that's a crazy thing. And then it's kind of went viral online, or people like are filming people's reaction to when a moment happens and shit, because you are like, what the fuck? That is crazy. Now, I have went too deep on the TikTok rabbit holes where people like, there's actually more of the story because there was an article written about it, and people from the town are like, actually, here's the real thing. The girl was involved too, and it was the mom and daughter together. And basically the girl's a mom, the one that was harassing these people. The theory is she was obsessed with her daughter's boyfriend, you know, getting a little 12-year-old. And through that obsession, got crazy. Now, they don't ask her near enough questions that you, the viewer, are hearing, and you're like, no, ask her this, you know. So that is frustrating watching it. But then all the people online agree with you, or me, you know, whoever's watching, like, yeah, they didn't ask enough. Like, this is the consensus, you know, across the board. So anyway, that was pretty good. But I didn't want to spoil it to Soko if the off chance he might watch it, but I knew he wouldn't. And we were running so late last week that I was like, we got to wrap up. Also, shout out to myself for the way that I cut out 15 minutes of the podcast, spun it off to a little side clip, just so we didn't go over 2 hours, to prove to Soko we didn't go over 2 hours. That was, I cheated, but we did it. And go back if you missed that. That was a little extra for you if you needed it. All right. The other thing I teased I was going to talk about, and I'll try to be as quick as possible for this. I did it in a little top 5 list, just to be fun, you know, but I'm going to try to be quick about it. So this is the top 5 worst rappers I really like, or liked, or however you want to. So, you know, I was seeing a lot of lists of the worst rapper list, and I just kind of realized, I was like, let me look up more of these. Like, 'cause a lot of people have been posting them up and kind of see everyone thinks you're bad rappers. And there's my number 1, for instance, weren't on any of this list because I don't think he was necessarily famous enough. But to me, it was perfect. So, you know, some of this is a little personal, but we'll get into it. Number 5 for me, I'm going Birdman. All right. Birdman, aka Baby, of Cash Money, Millionaires, of Big Timers, of fucking whatever any other group he's been in. I just understand there at the end, like when he's jumping on the Lil Wayne songs. I think he did some Young Thug songs. He was bad then. I get it. He had some of the worst fucking bars of all time, but he was in the Big Timers. I just don't I don't think people understand how good the Big Timers were, which is Manny Fresh and Birdman. Now, Manny Fresh, people hate on as a rapper too, but he's a producer. If this was like a Run the Jewels stereo, he is the LP. So Manny Fresh brought all the production and the fame. He was very famous as a kid because his dad was a famous musician or whatever in New Orleans. And so anyway, I just think Birdman takes a lot of shit when it's like, yeah, of course, when you do hundreds and hundreds of songs, you're going to have some flops. When other people write for you, sometimes they're going to write some flops. But the motherfucker makes real big, number 1 stunner, get your roll on. Like, I just don't, how is he on anyone's bad rapper list? So therefore, if he's considered a bad rapper, he's number 5 as my favorite. That's what I'm saying here. So, and I'd say this is a huge Lil Wayne fan that, you know, through their beef, I should be against Birdman. And there are many times I made fun of why pop a gat, I'd rather pop a bottle, you know. But then again, it's kind of on point with the song. Maybe it is a good lyric. You ever thought of that? All right. Number 4 on my list. Another one that I don't even necessarily agree this one should be considered a bad rapper. That's why I'm like even looking at it like maybe I should swap it out for someone, but he was on a lot of the list, and that's Lil Flip. Now, I don't think Lil Flip is a bad rapper whatsoever. Game Over is amazing. Whatever the fucking Chingy, or not Chingy, the Chameleonaire song, the CH is in my mind. That song was great. He had, a handful of good songs. He went over to Europe, was pretty successful. What happened was him and T.I. beefed, And T.I. put out, I got 99 problems, but Lil Flip ain't one. And he motherfucking murdered Lil Flip in this song. And then they were like, yeah, Lil Flip sucks at rapping. But I would argue he didn't suck at rapping. I don't know. Maybe people just don't like the Houston thing. I don't know. Maybe there is some bias there if whoever makes these lists. But Lil Flip was my number 4. If you're calling him bad, he's going to be on my list. Favorite rappers. Now, number 3, I cheated. I went with a duo here because I couldn't tell you who's who in the duo, but I saw this duo listed on lots of these lists of bad rappers, and I fucked with them heavy, and that is the Yin Yang Twins. Now, maybe it was just the LimeWire era where you could get all the Yin Yang Twin songs. I also just love Lil Jon, the East Side Boys, and really the whole crunk movement. You know, I didn't come off that way. I wasn't crunk dancing or anything. I was just enjoying that shit on my headphones on a school bus, on, you know, a school trip somewhere where I'm like, put your motherfucking hood up. And I like fucking put my hood up, just fucking, you know, I would feel it in my soul. And Yin Yang Twins were very good. I mean, Pink Panther is an all-timer for me. Like, it comes up now, I'm like, meow, you know, like, it's Pink Panther is so good. Also, To the Window, to the Wall, of like, I don't understand how you have classics and then people are like, they're bad rappers. They had the fucking Whisper song, which I'm sure people were like, and that was bad. The Whisper song was revolutionary. I remember loving it. I particularly loved the remix that had Free from 106 in Park. I think Missy Elliott was also on the remix, if I remember correctly. And I have double checked the Missy Elliott part. I feel like I have the memory, but I haven't listened to that in years. So anyway, I just shout out the Yin Yang Twins, D-Rock and and D-Rock might not be the guy's name. One's significantly older than the other one. That's when they did their Cribs episode. That's when you're like, oh my God, these guys are like, there's like a 10 or 15 year age difference here, I think. And maybe one was like, just living a harder life or something. Who knows? Or just genetics. Anyway, shout out Yin Yang Twins. All right, number 2 on my list. This one again, mini list. I'm offended. I can't believe it. I kind of gave it away earlier when I said his name on accident because I looked down, and that's Chingy. Chingy is my number 2. I think Chingy's first album is so fucking good that, again, anyone that puts out a classic album, I'm like, you can't be that bad. I was in nerd camp my first year. This is the summer between my freshman and sophomore year. I came to this college where they have all these math and science nerd kids come, and that first year, there was 2 black dudes from New Orleans, Corwin and Marcus were their names, and they were cool. You know, Marcus was in my grade, Corwin was a year older, and I knew who the Cash Money Millionaires were, as y'all could tell from my defensive Birdman, and because I was aware of them and they were like some of my favorites, they just liked me. Like, you fuck with New Orleans music, we fuck with you, white kid. And then Corwin had a white spot on his stomach, like where his skin looked like a white person in a spot. And so we would tell people we were Siamese twins, and that's where they cut us off at. So like, why were we lying to people? I don't know, but it was funny. So yeah, fucked with them heavy. But they gave me a burnt CD that had Right There by Chingy before it was like everywhere, you know. And this is, I don't know how they had it, but Marcus Herman was like, here, you need this, you know, you love rap music. And I remember so like that summer, I'll listen to that shit like a motherfucker. And then when I got back, showed it to all my friends. And I want to say, I would have to look up when it blew up. You know what? I don't want to be a liar here. Let me look up right now. I don't know if I can really tell when it blew up because a release date, I would have had it after a release date, of course. But let's see, video release date. Would that help us out maybe? Come on, Google AI. Oh, yeah. So it was saying in March. There's no way. The song came out in July. So, yeah, I would have got it in June. Oh, I don't know. I'd have to go do some math. But to my memory, and my story's better if I just pretend it was correct. But anyway, they gave me CD, had it right there, never heard it. And it was like, this is fucking amazing. Also remember listening to the Carter One like crazy that first year because I thought it was so good. All right, so just to finish, I think Holiday Inn, great song. He has a slow jam that I listen to that pops up all the time. I'm like, God damn, this wasn't my jam. And then what I think hurt Chingy was he had a rap beef with Ludacris, I think in hindsight, Chingy was correct because Chingy's beef here was that Ludacris is a bad label mate. Chingy also beefed with Nelly, so Chingy was blowing up in St. Louis. Nelly famously would not let anyone from St. Louis outshine him. You know, he would try to get him under his wing. You'll be a St. Lunatic and if I say so. And so Chingy was like, fuck that, I'll be bigger than Nelly. Now, he wasn't, but he tried. And so Ludacris signed him. And he was probably Ludacris's best signing. I mean, you could say 2 Chainz, but 2 Chainz didn't blow up as Titty Boy or whatever. And so anyway, Chingy does his thing. And then I think Chingy and Ludacris, I think, eventually come because Ludacris never really pushed his artists well. Like he was too busy being in movies and shit. At least that was how it felt as a high school teenage fan of rap music. So anyway, shout out Chingy, number 2. And then number 1, someone that no one's ever heard of, but I just love this dude and I never want his memory to die. And it's a rapper that goes by the name of Charles Hamilton. And he was from New York. I'm going to say Brooklyn, but maybe somewhere else. Harlem, actually, possibly. Who knows? He mentioned it a million times in the song. Now, this one's fun because this is around the time Asher Roth was blowing up. Now, Asher Roth could have been on this list if I would deem him a bad rapper, but I think he's good, damn it. And Charles Hamilton was one of the 10 people in that XXL class and that Asher Roth was in. So I remember I got really into like that whole XXL class every year that was and kind of followed all their careers. And I mean, Charles Hamilton was doing this thing where he was putting like a bunch of fucking mixtapes, and he was really more of a producer than a rapper. And they were like trying to say he was the next Kanye. No, he wasn't. You know, he was more inspired by like probably like Incubus and shit like that more than like Motown. Like, so like it still didn't sound like Kanye at all. But I think Jay-Z was like keeping an eye on him, maybe helped him out in some way. He had one somewhat hit song, not even a hit. It just had a fucking music video that played on MTV and BET, which is called Brooklyn Girls. I have an old song where I am rapping on that beat. So, I mean, I was a big fan of the guy, but he just had a lot of cool production on his mixtapes. He basically was sampling a lot of shit he would never get cleared. So he had to put it out as mixtape. I get that now, but I didn't understand the moment. And, DJ Ski, I believe, was the DJ that like hosted it and, you know, really pushed him hard. And, yeah, I just really liked him in the moment. But even while I liked him in the moment, I was like, he's not that good at rapping. Like these lyrics aren't that, you know, but he was authentic and there was something about him. I was like, you kind of respect him. Like he loves Sonic. And now I don't like Sonic or people that like Sonic, but he like obsessively likes Sonic. And I was like, yeah, but at least he knows what he liked, you know, or whatever. So I was just really a big fan of Charles Hamilton. He fell the fuck off. He disappeared. I don't have a clue what happened to him. You know, Facebook remembers like shit you liked from like decades ago. So every once in a while it'll be like, he's put out this new vinyl, get it here. There's a part of me that's interested, but it was kind of like a time and place. But I thought of myself as a very big fan of this guy. But he was kind of just like, I don't know, someone say a black nerd, but kind of, you know, not even a nerd, maybe even more. He has like drama kid energy. I remember at that time, again, this is early YouTube as well. And he's like freestyle battling, you know, people on a sidewalk. Same with Asher Roth, like freestyle with some guy in a hallway at a university somewhere, you know. And that stuff was pretty cool. I remember once he rapped a girl and she punched him in the middle of it. And he goes, that's cool. He tries to like play it off, but he's like, talks about her having an abortion or something, and she just fucking socks him, but he doesn't knock him out or anything. So I just really like Charles Hamilton. That was my dude. My wife still, there's a certain song she remembers because of some of the production. And yeah, anyway, like he did Rock Lobster. He did a beat version of that, which I also rapped over at one time. And that was pretty cool. So anyway, shout out Charles Hamilton. The Hamiltonization process is what his whole mixtape series was called. Anyway, I just saw another song. Jeezy Hamilton was so good. Anyway, here's my very quick honorable mentions. These are people I considered for the list that could have made it. Soulja Boy, I think he got a lot of hate when he was he had the speakers going hammers, guys. I don't understand. Again, people hate on him, but he made hits. He blew up right when I started rapping, and I remember being on all the forums at the time. That's how you did fucking rapping. You were on forums talking to people on the internet, and like people just were mad because he was recently on the forums and they all hated him. And then he blew up and they didn't. So people were so bitter. And I've just through that, I'm like, you know what? I kind of respect Soulja Boy's crazy ass. Drake. All right, this next one is honestly what got my whole thing started to this is Hobo Johnson. I don't particularly like, but people are claiming Hobo Johnson's the worst rapper ever. And maybe he is. But his song, Peach Scone, that was like his big thing. I kind of liked it. You know, I don't think it should be called rap, I guess. But people consider him a rapper. And then they like, he's the worst rapper ever. And I'm like, just think of this like it's new metal, but acoustic. I don't know. Like, why didn't y'all have to consider it rap? But he's had a couple songs actually that I like. So I like to defend Hobo Johnson a little bit, but I understand there is some about him that isn't. That's just easy to hate. He just looks easy to hate, you know? All right, next Gutta Gutta, another Young Money, or I guess not another, but a Young Money guy. Everyone always hated on Gutta Gutta, but I always thought when he got a verse in a song, you know, he matched energies and it wasn't the worst. I don't think Gutta Gutta, but he's all very top of a lot of these lists. Mike Jones also was on this list, which is crazy because in my fucking world, Mike Jones is a huge deal, and people still will be like, "Who, Mike Jones?" You know, so I don't believe it. I don't believe he's a bad rapper, but I saw him on the list. Iggy Azalea, people hate on her a lot. I still think that Fancy song is really fucking good. Now I understand she's like a one-hit wonder, but it's a good one hit. I think, you know, I think she takes too much hate for this one hit that she has. The beat's honestly what kills it. The beat's very good, but she doesn't ruin it, I don't think. Nick Cannon. Now, a lot of people hate on Nick Cannon. He says some wild shit. He wild outs, if you will. But Dime Piece and Gigolo are hit songs. So I just want to shout that out. I'm not saying he's not a whack rapper, but he had two pretty good fucking songs. Andy Milonakis. No, I'm not on anyone's list. I just want to shout him out because he's awesome. Always liked Andy Milonakis' rap ability. And then The Lonely Island, I kind of hold as like this weird, that they're like the low bar of like, if you're better than this, you're good. And if you're worse, then yeah, probably not that good. And I think I don't really love Andy Samberg. He's the main guy, of course, of Lonely Island, but he is like the bar. The guy with the glasses, he's my favorite of the group. The Keeve, the other guy, my least favorite of the group. But a lot of people hate Lonely Island. I love Lonely Island, so we're going to give them an honorable mention there as well. So there you go. That's my list. I try to do it as quickly as possible. Hopefully I did good. Now it's going to be annoying as fuck to pop up all these pictures. And I'm saying, but hey, that's the production side of this whole thing. And you know what? I'm just glad I did the part. I was a little worried. I hadn't done one in a couple weeks. I doubled up a couple weeks ago just so I could take a week off. And then during that whole time, I was like, God, I'm so fucking depressed. Like I'm always depressed. You know, don't get me wrong. It's just kind of my normal mode. But I can tell like when I start making too many suicide jokes out loud. You know, it's fine to have those thoughts in my head, but at work when I'm like, yeah, we just commit suicide, and people look like, whoa, and I'm like, sorry, that didn't mean to let it slip out there. Same at home, you know, you don't want the wife to hear that sort of thing. They don't like it. So, you know, I was a little worried I wouldn't be able to bring the energy, but then here we go. I'm fucking an hour, 20 minutes in. And I think it worked out all right. I'm thirsty as fuck, but that's what I've learned about a solo podcast. There's just no time for drinks. I need a Camelback with a big old straw or just a big old wacky straw in my cup over here. Could also be neat. So, all right. Next episode will be 15. So that means I'm going to try to get Skinny over here. I let him know the other day and he said he'll let me know, but I know his life's busy. His kid's now playing high school football. And then he has his son's playing high school football. And then he has daughters and, you know, they have lives and he's got a job and he shows up in his fucking work clothes when he does come over, and I feel so bad. I'm like, bro, you could go home and shower. When I hit you up, it ain't like mandatory. So, yeah, I'll try to get Skinny over because music episode 2 is one of my favorites we've done in a long time. And I was excited for that to come out. And then a lot of people hit me up like, hey, that was really good. So, you know, I like having Skinny here, of course, brings the energy. But now I got to think of what we're going to talk about. You know, I spoiled all the political talk which we got Skinny's input on. So, all right, we're going to end here on a song of mine and Brad's I mentioned earlier. It's a song called Problem off of our album Bros. And this was one of my favorites. I really like the samples I found for it as well. That is half the fucking artistic vision, in my opinion, at least for me, of the Bros album is how well the little samples from TikTok videos fit in, set the vibes. And so anyway, this is what I think inspired Sir Nasty's whole fucking thing. Let me know, Soka. And appreciate everyone tuning in and all of that. We will see you next week.
I smoked a lot of marijuana, and I took a lot of pills. I drank a lot of beer and whiskey and wine, and I took a lot of steroids. But that was normal for that era, and it was everywhere.
I'm writing my bars, I'm rolling my kush. I keep these bitches running like somebody yelled mush. So close to the edge, it's like I just need a push. That weed make me dumb, yeah, President Bush. All I need is a pillow, then I'm ready for bed. Ask my girl to kneel though, and then she ready for head. It's like these beats, I killed those, I'm sure that's already said. My favorite color been green, never fucked with blue and red. Yeah, to me that is the police, see that's when I'm outie. Then they probably send dog to my door to collect the bounty. Whole time I'm wondering, it be like how the fuck he found me. Probably smelled all this weed that I keep around me. I keep speakers pounding, drowning my voice. If you passing the weed, bro, it's like you ain't got a choice. Peer pressure, motherfucker, like everybody laughing, boy. I'm like a knee or elbow doctor, get ecstatic about the joints. Think I got a fucking problem. Keep smoking weed, but like fuck, I can't stop it. Think I got a fucking problem. Keep smoking weed, but like fuck, I can't stop it.
Use a gravity bong to lift me to space, floating in place. I get so baked. If you're tagging along, then at least bring in Nath. I got the papes. It's hard to say how much I smoke a day. No excuse, still it's the reason I got a memory like Bruce Willis. Catch me facing a gram vape at work. Hit a blinker till it's burnt. Customers concerned. Started thinking I might need a nurse. Coughing up a lung, eyes watery. I'm seeing blurs. Don't even try to talk to me. I awkwardly see you and swerve. Higher than a precipice. Firing up the best tickets. Still I hate you all the time like every day was Festivus. I am the type who likes routine. I wake up with caffeine and green and nicotine. Breakfast, lunch and dinner and some in between. I got a problem if you got a problem with me token. If you want the smoke then let it blow, cause I'm already smoking. Keep it in motion, I ain't stopping for shit. Then I sit at home stoned and this is all I could think.
Think I got a fucking problem. Keep smoking weed, but like fuck, I can't stop it. Think I got a fucking problem. Keep smoking weed, but like fuck, I can't stop it.